Welcome to Bear Lifestyle, the podcast where we speak up and speak out about all taboo topics and make them normal and acceptable. You are invited to be curious, to try something new, and stay open to provocative perspectives. I'm your host, Simona Spark, a best-selling author, international speaker, transformational coach, and so many other things. Beyond anything else, I'm a woman who stopped following other people's rules and started creating my own. In this space, we are going to get naked by stripping away insecurities, self-judgments, and all kinds of limitations so we can reach in for the essence of who we really are Bear. Beautiful, authentic, real, and ever evolving. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Bear Lifestyle. I am so happy to be here with you today. Thank you for listening. And thank you for coming back for those of you that have been following my podcast for a while. And for those of you that are here for the first time, welcome. I'm very happy that you find us. And I want to invite you to go back to the 30 plus episodes and explore the topics they're speaking to you. So today, still in Bali, hello from Bali. Today, I want to talk about this concept of leaving people behind. Does any of you ever felt that you took a step for yourself and then you felt at the same time you left people behind? Or you've been the one that been left behind? So for the past week, I've been very inspired into my writing. So I wrote a lot, and we'll see where that is going to become a book of something. And this concept of feeling left behind or feeling that we leave people behind, it kept circle back to me. Well, for good reasons, because I left everything behind 2 months ago to the day when I decided to just sell everything and pack one suitcase and take off into the world. And as I been still processing this huge change, right, and start integrating some pieces that are attached to this big move that I did, a lot got pulled out to the surface. And it took me back 13 years ago when I left Romania. For those of you that know my story, in 2009, I decided to move to United States. And it's been an amazing journey. And the following decade of that move, it's all explained in detail into my book, Raising My Voice, The Memoir of an Immigrant. I will drop the link in a description of this episode for those of you that want to read my book. And for the longest time, I've been struggling with this concept that I left people behind, that I left my family behind, that I left my culture behind, my religion, my so many things, right? I mean, I've been living there for the first 33 years of my life. So it's a lot. It's a whole identity. It's a whole identity that I left behind. But in retrospect, like looking back, I never left anything behind. All I did, I took a move, I took a step towards what I wanted for myself, for my child, for our life, right? So think about this. What if we never leave anyone behind and all we do, we take a step to our own life. We take a step closer to who we are meant to be or who we want to become. I know that I wanted to create a new life for myself. I wanted to give my child the opportunity to have more options and more freedom that I had as a child. And at that point, it's all I knew. And that's the decision that I did to move to the United States, regardless that I had no family or no friends in the whole continent. And I didn't even speak the language. That didn't even matter. And people will say you crazy. And, you know, I could see how that looks absolutely insane. But this is the part that I want you to really look in and see, is it there a tiny little minuscule part of yourself that wants something else? And are you denying that part, or are you listening to that part, that inner voice, right? Because sometimes most of times, all the time, when we have a dream, an idea, a desire, it's starting like very little. And the only way that we could make it happen is to really give that tiny little part of ourselves the mic, the right to speak, the right to speak up, to come through, right? And then other pieces that resonate are just going with that little piece. And before you know it, you know, all of us, we are taking that brave step, that big move. And when we are all there, we become that person. And here we are, right? Now, here's the part of that I want to share with you guys today. And I truly believe that could be useful for those of you that are finding yourself in this circumstance of, I have a desire, I have a dream, I want to go after, but I don't want to leave people behind. I want to encourage you to consider that what you want and what you desire, maybe, probably, possibly, most likely, most of people that you are afraid that you're leaving behind won't even understand. Not that they should, because it's your dream, it's your desire. I know we talked about this concept before, but I want to take you a little bit deeper. And if you find that glimpse of courage to take that step, because all you needed is just for 1 second to take that step, right? You get to shift all the internal energy, not only to create that dream, to fulfill that desire, but to create yourself, to create yourself. I know when I left Romania and through the whole journey of 8 years of becoming a US citizen, I probably every day, most likely every day of those 8 years, I was thinking and I was wondering, who am I now? Who am I now? And you know me. I believe now that I'm a new person every day. But for almost a decade, it really sank. It really sank when I signed my new name. When I signed my new name, when I become a citizen. So my last name, Spark, is the name that I choose for myself. I basically named this new identity that I become all these years. Because before that, I was still carrying my first husband's last name, which I decided to keep it. Only because my kid was very little when we divorced and he just learned his full name. So I don't want to confuse the kid. That was the reasoning, really. So I kept that name for all those years. And then I found out that when I become a citizen, I get to choose my whole name. So I did decide to keep the first name because that's the name that my parents named me. But the last name, I was like, okay, for sure, I'm dropping my first ex-husband name because I'm not that person. I have nothing attached to that person anymore. And the first thought was I could go to my maiden name, right? The name that I was born with, the last name of my parents. And that makes sense for a lot of people. And I've been asked that questions a lot, why you did not choose that name. But underneath of all the explanations and all the reasonings is that I was not that person anymore either. I did not identify with that version of myself, right? So I was looking and searching into finding a name that represent who I am now. When I say now, what years ago when I become a citizen, and most likely, where am I going? Who do I want to become? What do I want to do with my life? So I stopped at Spark, and there's been a lot of opinions around it from family, from friends, you could only imagine. But in time, I learned to don't even explain. I learned to allow them to have the questions or don't understand what I'm doing because it's not for them to understand. It's my choice. It's my life. So I literally create myself, name my new identity. And this is not to tell you like, go ahead and change your name. You could if you wish. Absolutely. And I know that in the United States, it's very easy. You could change it if you when you become a citizen, but you could just go to court and it's about $500. You could change your name. But that's not what I want to say here. What I want to say here is that every little piece, every little part of our identity gets to have its own little identity. And then when we are called to go somewhere, to create a new life, a new lifestyle, to start a new job, to start a new career, to change our school, whatever, change, right? If you didn't hear enough about change, go to the previous episode because I'm elaborating on this concept in that episode. But is to really honor that part that wanna take us there. And then look at what are the pieces that doesn't let us go there. And identify that every time we have this feeling of leaving people behind is to remind ourselves that we are not leaving behind anything and anyone. What we are doing, we are moving towards to ourselves, to what we want, to what's in our heart and our soul, and most importantly, to what do we want to create moving forward? Who do we want to become? That's where we are going. And that's what's happening. And people that will resonate with who we are and where we are going, they're gonna come along. Those they don't, they won't. But we get to take a pause and not feel guilty about it anymore. If you do, maybe you get to release that. Maybe you could tap into forgiving yourself and even forgiving those that try so hard to hold you back. And understand that those big moves that people say they're big moves, they're big to them. I know based on whatever standards of big moves, big change are there, or what I learn or what we learn, I'm someone who does big moves. But I will let you in into a secret. It doesn't feel big to me. It doesn't. This is who I am. And I think I've been doing it so much and so often and for so long that this is my new standard. So I'm looking in my business, I'm looking in my speaking career, I'm looking in like so many things. Like my first talk ever was on TEDx stage. Big move. Till this day, people still not believe that. It is what it is. I don't need them to believe me. I know that's the truth. When I wrote my first book was just a challenge with myself of like, can I write in English? So I wrote it in 10 weeks and I published it. Big move. When I wrote this book, my memoir, a year and a half ago, was the same. I just like, I'm just going to put all my story, all the secrets on the paper. And it took, again, 10 weeks. People still not believe that, right? A big move. Or moving from Romania to United States, from United States to New Zealand, moving back, and now just, taking off into the world, like big move, big move. Big move according to who? I want to invite you to look into your life and see what are the changes that you want to do or you are doing, and how do you respond to people reactions? Because people will have reaction just from their own perspective. And if that move that you made, it's really big for them because, and only because, they cannot do it, or that they think it's impossible to be done, I want you to understand them that that's the place they are speaking from with you. When they ask for explanation, when they tell you why to not do it, when they try to hold you back. So that's where I'm at today. I'm in a place where my moves and my changes are my moves and my changes. And people get to perceive them small and big, and that has nothing to do with where I'm going. It's their perception. And I do want to give you one more thing. Understanding that this idea of big, especially when it comes to change, it's coming from fear. And fear, it's illogical. Fear has no logic, no. I will invite you to go to my YouTube channel. I have a playlist called Simona Spark Show, and there are quite a few episodes when I talk about fear, and just go and dive into those to see what resonates with you. But in this concept of leaving people behind and how people judge us or try to hold us back, is because of their own fear. It's because of their own fear. And even when you experience fear, when you know that you want to make that move and you want to take that step, my question to you is, how bad do you want it? If the place where you are is miserable and it's not what you want, and you have the inspiration of doing something else or moving into a new space, I want you to really tune in and understand what that fear is coming from. If it's coming from this place where you are, or is it coming from that place that you don't know of and you're afraid of the new thing? Because there are two different types of fear, right? But for this episode, for this concept of leaving people behind, just understand that it's a matter of fear. They try to hold you back because they're afraid of what you're doing, because they don't get it, they don't have the courage to do it. Or your fear of leaving people behind, it's actually your concern that people won't follow you into the new space where you are going. So then you get to clean that up. So that's what I have for today. I know it's a bare lifestyle, and we are talking about how to be beautiful and authentic and real and express. None of that is possible if we never listen to our own desires. So for this episode, I want to invite you to have the questions around leaving people behind from the bare perspective. If I'm truly honest with myself, if this is what I want, if this is where I go, if this is me, authentically myself, and I'm real and honest about my desires, and I'm fully expressing what is it that I don't like and what is it that I want, am I leaving people behind, or am I choosing myself to create the life that I want, to create the new me, to create myself, to create my future? And is it not that my responsibility? So I hope those questions will bring some revealing answers to you. Please do share in the comments what you discover through this podcast. And if you want to dive deeper into identity, in insecurities, imperfection, and flaws, and how we move into who do we want to become, please check out the masterclasses that I have in my academy, Simona Spark /Academy. Scroll down to the masterclasses. There are quite few that will help you, and most of them have workbooks that will help you to self-discover, right? Self-discover. What's your move? Where you're going? Who do you become? How to clean up insecurities? How to hold into that desire where you are going, and see which one speaks to you. I think for this particular topic, I will actually recommend the masterclass Remarkable, and also Revealed. Yeah, those two. I'll put the links in the comments, don't worry about it. Okay, that's what I have for today. I wish you all a wonderful bear day, week experience, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. I would love to hear from you. What inspired you? What triggered you? And what interests you? Please join the conversation by leaving your comments and your insights. Explore more about Bear Experience at simonaspark.com/bear. I hope you listen, follow, rate, and review all of our episodes. I can't wait to have you back. Till then, be Bear. Beautiful, authentic, real, and ever evolving.